What's up, credit family? It's your boy, Mr. Credit Banking, and I am back again with another video. In today's video, we're going to discuss how to build your emergency fund. Guys, people are telling us all the time, hey, you need to have an emergency fund, but no one have, and people do get into how to build that emergency fund. But one of the things they don't really cover is like, how do you build an emergency fund and deal with emergencies that come up whilst you are building that emergency fund, because that is going to happen. I've been trying to build my emergency fund now for years, but issues are coming up, and so I am kind of going to go over with you guys on how am I managing that. I'm building my emergency fund and emergencies come up, so kind of go over with you guys how I manage that. So on the internet they're telling you to you need to have that $1,000 initial emergency fund, and then also if you married, then the 3 to 6 months emergency fund, and if you are single, the 6 months to a year emergency fund. But I'm single, so I need to build up that 6 months to a year emergency fund. But that's a lot of money. That's a lot of cash to have on hand. And then also emergencies are happening whilst you are building up your emergency fund. So, initially I got that $1,000 starter emergency fund. As you guys know, that $1,000 usually can't address too many emergencies that come up, but hey, at least you have it. And then I'm working on, building up that 6 months to a year emergency fund. But before I started working on that 6 months to a year, I also need to create some sinking funds. And I think sinking funds are very important, because there are things that are going to come up that some of us treat as emergencies, but it really isn't an emergency. Like your car registration, car repair, birthdays, holidays, repairs around the house. Those things are going to happen. I don't see them as true emergencies. So I think those are things that I can plan for. I just don't know exactly when they're going to happen, but I can plan for them. So I created my sinking funds. My sinking funds now is fully vested. Now I'm transferring over to my my real emergency fund. But one of the things that I think, one of the things that I'm doing is that I use, if an emergency comes up, I do end up using my sinking funds as an emergency, because it's cash in hand. I'm not going to address the emergencies. And you know what? That's my sinking funds. It's allocated for a specific thing. I'm not going to take care of my emergency, and I have all of this cash on hand sitting there. Until I get my emergency fund, fully funded. If I have cash on hand / my sinking funds, although that's why I put it aside for, but it's there, I am going to use my cash on hand. And if my cash on hand is not enough, then I'm going to use my credit cards, because I have available credit on my credit cards. I have cash on hand in my sinking funds. I'm not just going to, ignore that those things are not there and not take care of my whatever emergency that comes up. So I think this is a creative way of addressing emergencies before you have a fully funded emergency fund. You can use your sinking funds, although it's not, was put aside for that, but it's cash on hand. And then also I'm going to use my credit card. I know that a lot of people say, hey, don't get yourself in debt, but it's there and the emergency needs to be addressed. So I'm not going to just ignore all the resources that I have and not take care of the emergency. So guys, that's how I manage my emergencies until I have a fully funded emergency fund. Guys, let me know what you guys think, if this is a creative way, or if you've done stuff like this before, or if you heard of anything like this before. But for me, it's been working, because it's going to take me years to get a fully funded emergency fund, because that's a lot of cash that I need to keep on hand, and emergencies are happening at the same time. But I need to address the emergencies, and this is how I'm addressing it, with my cash in hand that I have set aside for other stuff, and also my credit card. That's all I have for you guys today. Mr. Credit Banking out. Peace.